2025 had some insane matches throughout the year across WWE, AEW, and as well as TNA. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you my matches of the year for 2025. I've gathered a total about 12 matches. It was hard to pick like a top list, so let's get started. At number 12, I have Javon Evans versus Leon Slater at Bound for Glory 2025. Going into this match, I was already excited. It was a dream match of mine that I had ever since the partnership got announced. Both of these guys are amazing in the ring, and to see them go at it for the first time ever, I was so excited. This match had some insane spots. You see both the moves that they deliver, and unfortunately, it did not end in a clean finish. It started with a double count out, and I thought, okay, you know what? I'm fine with this. I would have been perfectly fine with the double count out, only for them to add 5 more minutes to the match and then have goofy ass Dark State interfere in the match, thus not having a definitive ending. I really hope one day that they do run this match back. Unfortunately, people are going to remember the ending rather than the match. Overall, the match was literally generational, really showcasing the future of professional wrestling. I do think at some point they will run it back. I really hope they do. I feel like Leon's going to be on his way to WWE, and I feel like they could become each other's greatest rivals, as well as a certified banger of a tag team. They tag so well together. At number 11, this is a different one that I haven't really seen go around, and I thought this stood out to me. We have Mike Santana versus Josh Alexander in an I Quit match at TNA's Genesis pay-per-view. I actually attended this event since it is in the place that I live. I had started watching TNA a few months prior. I started watching a little bit after Bound for Glory, so I was watching some reruns, to really get my mind fresh in the history of TNA. Mike Santana was being set up to be a really big babyface, going through the tag team of the Northern Armory with the two guys, and then leading up to Josh Alexander and adding a stipulation of this being an I Quit match. I thought it was very violent, very brutal. You really see Mike Santana fighting to prove himself. You're here thinking that he's gonna quit, but he's not giving up, and you see Josh Alexander taking the most brutal beatings from Mike Santana, only for him to say I quit, and then come to find out later on that would be his last pay-per-view match since his contract was ending. That was a wonderful way to go out to put over the next talent. Both of these guys delivered. Overall, it was great seeing in person. I really thought that this match was great. Really starting the Mike Santana push, cemented himself that he was going to be the next guy. At number 10, we're going to stick in the TNA Genesis pay-per-view a little bit because I have another match that really stood out to me, which was Joe Hendry versus Nick Nemeth for the TNA World Championship. Going into this match, people were really expecting Joe Hendry to win as well. He did need to win. They really built him up to be the guy, the face of the company during that time frame. He had already had his viral moments appearing in NXT since we had already gotten the little taste of the partnership that was about to come to be. He was on the chase to becoming TNA World Champion, and only for him to get screwed at Bound for Glory by John Layfield. Unfortunately, that wasn't his moment. I really felt like that should have been his moment. I also even feel they should have capitalized on Joe Hendry sooner. Did get his match. He did earn an opportunity for a rematch at Genesis. I thought was a wonderful match. I know people see Joe Hendry as a comedy gimmick. I know there are some people who see the potential in him, but you got to realize Joe Hendry is actually not a bad wrestler. He is very good in ring. I know he has his greatest hits that he mainly showcases because we know a lot of the gimmick wrestlers have to showcase their signature moves. However, he really delivered in this match, putting up a great fight against Nick Nemeth, really showcasing that this is how much he wants it. This is how much he wants to be champion. We even had shenanigans in this match with JBL once again interfering, only for him to actually help Joe Hendry this time. And we're here thinking, what? He just screwed him and now he's helping him? Like, it just threw everybody for a loop. And we all got the feel-good ending of Joe Hendry becoming TNA World Champion. It was a phenomenal moment, well-deserved, well-earned, and he would go on to have an amazing run. Both him and Nick Nemeth delivered well. We all know Nick Nemeth is a great wrestler, and I felt that him and Joe Hendry really meshed well together. At number 9, I have Cody Rhodes versus John Cena in a street fight at SummerSlam. This SummerSlam I actually attended. If you would like to see the vlog journey that I did in New York and New Jersey, it is up on the channel if you want to go check it out. I was excited, to be honest. Really redeemed themselves from the horrible match that was WrestleMania 41. Them adding a street fight as a stipulation, I felt really helped the match get more excitement, and sure enough, they did deliver, pulling moves out of their bag that I don't really get to see from them all the time. It was just insane. Even Cody pulling out that pile driver that I wasn't expecting to see in a WWE ring. Them going into the crowd. You had John Cena pick up Cody on the Cody Vader, and all the false finishes, so many AAs, so many crossroads, even John Cena kicking out of the triple crossroads, only for Cody to eventually pick up the win, which I felt that was the direction they were headed towards. Cody was going to get his championship back. John Cena really putting Cody over in this match, cementing him as he is now the true face of this company. This was like the extra boost to really solidify him, and John Cena overall really delivered, and I feel like this was one of John Cena's best matches in the retirement tour. Overall, it was amazing to see in person, especially even freaking out in person. Really being there to experience that is something I will never forget, especially going to New York, New Jersey for the first time ever in my entire life. Also, that would be the last time I saw John Cena live. At number 8, we're going to stick with John Cena here as we have John Cena versus AJ Styles at Crown Jewel. This match was... I know I'm going to say a lot of the matches were amazing, but this was genuinely amazing. This match was literally a love letter to professional wrestling. Both of them paying homage to all their past rivals. I wasn't expecting John Cena to take some of those moves. What really kind of scared me was AJ Styles hitting the fade to black on John Cena. I was like, that is a scary move, and I'm glad both of the superstars were okay. They both delivered. Literally two faces of a company coming together one last time. The fact that there was no story going into this match and they were able to deliver a good in-ring performance. I was really hoping that they would have at least faced each other one last time throughout this retirement tour, and I'm so glad it happened. The match delivered. One of my favorite parts being when he had that note set up for him because he wanted to do something special for him, really put him over. Granted, AJ Styles did not win. However, both of them looked great in this match. Loved seeing them pay homage to their former rivals throughout their history. If this would have been the last match of John Cena, honestly, I would have been fine with it. At number 7, we're going to switch over to AEW now. We have Toni Storm versus Mariah May in their Hollywood ending at AEW Revolution. Around this time, I was now really starting to hop on the AEW train. At first, I would kind of see stuff and I'm like, what is going on? But I officially started giving it a chance because I would see their feud in my algorithm of TikTok, seeing the promo work they were delivering, the story they were telling, and I was like, okay, like I was really getting interested. Of course, Toni had just won the title back from Mariah May at Grand Slam Australia, and then going into Revolution, really ending the feud. You could see the love that they have for each other, the chemistry they had. So many violent parts of the match. Toni already bleeding buckets. Like, it hadn't even been like 2 minutes into the match and already it was just so much blood. The match was fantastic. I thought it was a beautiful, and no pun intended, Hollywood ending, really closing the chapter on this feud, only to come to find out that Mariah May actually was leaving AEW. I did not expect that. I know there were reports, but then for it to actually happen, and what a way to go out from that company with the person that she cares about. I even thought that this should have main evented the pay-per-view. People would have gone home happy, in my opinion. Especially the title, Hollywood ending. It would have made sense for it to end the show. At number 6, we're going to go back to WWE, where we have Cody Rhodes Page versus Kevin Owens in their ladder match at the Royal Rumble. This match was insane. A lot of nasty spots. Let's not forget the Alabama Slam that Kevin Owens took through the ladder. That was just brutally insane, especially when we learned the information that he was already having a neck injury and having to do that. Granted, that wasn't the cause of his neck injury, thank God. Apparently, we found out later in reports it was a match he had with Rey Mysterio that caused his neck injury, but I mean, hey, both him and Cody Rhodes really delivered. The feud itself was amazing. Kevin Owens was really doing some of the best work he's done in his career. I mean, he's done a lot of great work, but this was truly an amazing heel run, and I honestly thought he could have won at the Rumble. I really thought Kevin Owens was going to win. That was one of the greatest Rumble PLEs I have seen in the history of me watching the Royal Rumble, but that match, honestly, I felt was match of the night. And now at number 5, we're going to go back into the AEW world where we have Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher in their steel cage match at Revolution. Going into this, I was already like a big Will Ospreay fan. I didn't realize I had followed Will Ospreay a long time ago. Once I got back into wrestling again, I had saw some of the great work he was doing. So going into this match, I was very interested to see how this was going to go. I had gotten a little summary of their feud going on. Kyle Fletcher breaking out of his shadow, really becoming his own. And both these men delivered a phenomenal match. Of course, we will not forget the Spanish fly off the top of the cage. I was so scared, and then later on hearing that they didn't rehearse that, so the trust that they had for each other was amazing. Both of these men delivered. Even the storytelling in this match was so good, like just the hatred he had really cementing Kyle Fletcher. Will Ospreay still delivering at the level that he does. Overall, great match, and that was honestly the pay-per-view that got me to continue watching AEW after seeing how good of that match was. Well, there was a lot of great matches, but this one in particular was like, all right, you know what, this is gonna, I feel like now I should start watching. I should really start seeing what a lot of this talent has to offer. And now number 4, gonna stick on the AEW train once again, as now we go to All In Texas, which is something I attended. And this match I've chosen as one of my match of the years is another Will Ospreay match, but he is tagging with Swerve Strickland to go against the Young Bucks. I felt All In had a good build, and I love the stakes that they added to this, being that they won, they take over the status of EVPs, but if the Bucks won, that Will and Swerve could not challenge for the world title for 1 year. And you're thinking, I mean, if it wouldn't have been bad, because I felt like they could have gone into the tag division and really elevate the tag scene. However, they would pick up the win in a phenomenal match. They had this like crazy sequence like a few minutes into the match that really like woke up the crowd, since I know a lot of the fans in attendance had already been there in the early parts of the morning, myself included, and like this was already a long card as it was, so I felt like this really like hyped up the crowd, got them engaged to really get the ball rolling, to like keep you interested in the card, because as I mentioned, it was a long day for wrestling. The combos that Swerve and Will pulled out, like the hidden blade into the house call, like wow. For this not even being on the part of the triple main event they had, this match really stood out to me, and all 4 gentlemen did such a phenomenal job. And now we're at number 3, sticking with All In Texas. We have the main event, which was Hangman Adam Page versus Jon Moxley in a Texas death match. This match was honestly everything you could have expected. A lot of blood, brutal spots. You feel the hatred. You feel Hangman wanting to break the championship free since it was hidden in a briefcase for several months. You had your run-ins, shenanigans with the Death Riders, the Ops, Will, Darby returning, the return of Bryan Danielson, even Swerve coming out to help Hangman, to really put a stamp in the story that it was going to be Swerve to be the one to help Hangman, giving him the chain, choking out Mox. What a great way to end the night after a long day of wrestling. Like, that event started at 12 p.m. with 0 hour. We didn't get out of there till almost 8:30. So it was a long day of wrestling, and it was such a beautiful, happy ending to that chapter. Great match overall. I was great to be there in person. Even though I was tired, I was still looking forward to this main event, and this main event truly delivered. And now we are at number 2. Sticking with AEW, we have Will Ospreay versus Hangman at Double or Nothing in the Owen Hart finals. This match, God, I know I'm like reacting to all these matches, but this one in particular I was just so blown away. I was locked in the entire time onto my TV. I was trying to tell my boyfriend, like, hey, you need to watch this. You need to watch this. Because unfortunately he fell asleep. It was a long pay-per-view, so he was tired, so I was just watching it in the room. But oh my God, this was something else. What I really loved about this match, even going into it, was the fact that you can have baby faces go against each other and not turn heel. Usually if it's babyface versus babyface, you already have the intention of someone is gonna turn heel. But in this match, nobody turned heel. It was just a respect thing. Who was going to be the better man? May the best man win. And they both delivered. You even thought for a second that Will probably would have turned heel. But no, like, both of these men delivered. I've even heard reports that both of them were vouching for each other to go over. Only Hangman to be the one to go over and win the Owen Hart final. Will even putting him over too. Like, he was happy about it. Granted, yes, a part of me wanted Will Ospreay to finally win the world title, but I did feel Hangman was the correct choice. Both of them were really good dancing partners. I would love to see them run it back again later on. I really wish the best of recovery to Will Ospreay. He is dearly missed in AEW. Such a great match, and it was a really good way to start the build to All In. And ladies and gentlemen, we have now reached the number 1 match of the year for 2025, and I have chosen Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky at Evolution. This match in particular, it was for the Women's World Championship. You're here thinking that Rhea's finally gonna beat Io, and sure enough, we had the moment of Naomi cashing in, and no one expecting her to even cash in. I feel like we were all in the mindset that she was gonna eventually cash in on one of Jade's title matches, since Jade was already being set up to become Women's World Championship. We had already expected her to win Queen of the Ring. We all felt that Naomi was gonna be the one to take the title off of Jade, only for Naomi to actually interfere in this match, and just blown away. It was honestly the female heist of the century, since nobody was expecting it. But aside from the moment Rhea and Io would deliver such a magical main event match, even them going into the crowd, same example, you could have two baby faces go against each other without turning heel in the match. Both of them just having a mad respect for each other. It's like, you know what? I respect you. Let's fucking fight. Like, let's just go. And sure enough, they went. They delivered. They delivered so much magic for a pay-per-view PLE that didn't have a lot of build into it, and ended up being honestly one of the best pay-per-views of the entire year. Congratulations to these women. I feel one day Rhea will beat Io, but for this time in particular, this was phenomenal. These were my matches of 2025. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.